Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on CapnclydesMTG. I guess it's finally time for them to come out of the woodwork. That's right. Assassin's Creed card spike 700%. Well, I mean, at the rate we're going, who would have thunk it? So, before we get started, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. The comments down below will feed that YouTube algorithm. Links down below. eBay, TCG Player Store, Patreon. You can be a YouTube member. My Twitch is down there if you just want to hang out while we game some nights. It's all good. So, hook it up, subscribe, all that good jazz. I mean, you might as well subscribe. You're showing up anyway, and you know you can't turn it off. You know, because it's that YouTube rabbit hole where you watch one video, you end up on some dinky channel like mine. You're like, hey, this guy is relatively funny and mildly stupid, but it's still entertaining to listen to. Anyway, moving on. So, like I was saying, Assassin's Creed card spiked 700%. So, what card is it? Well, not what you thought it was. It's Yggdrasil Rebirth Engine. That's right. Kind of a reference to the World Tree. As you can see here, the near mint foil is bucking a sweet $20 all of a sudden. Card was around, we'll call that $2. Now, it's up in the $20 range for the foil. Absurd. So, as you can see here, the pricing hasn't caught up with it yet. And that's pretty obvious since the normal card is $18, the foil is $8. Unless this thing has some severe warping. But that wouldn't happen in Magic foils, would it? Anyway, moving on. So why is this card spiking all of a sudden? Well, 3 colorless mana. It says, when the Rebirth Engine enters the battlefield, you exile all creature cards from your graveyard. Now, I mean, that's fine, I guess. But here's the kicker. Tap, exile top 3 cards of your library. You may be thinking, why the hell would I want to do that? Well, hang on, we're almost there. So for 4 colorless and tapping, put a creature card exiled with this card onto the battlefield under your control. It gains hastily in a turn, but you can only do it as a sorcery. So basically, on turn 3, you put this bad boy on the table. On turn 4, you proceed to get Big Nappy out of graveyard and wreck face on your opponent. I know what you're thinking. Well, there's better ways to do that in Legacy and Vintage and all that stuff. Yeah, but how about Modern? I mean, this is the same amount as a show and tell, and it's honestly just a worse version of Sneak Attack. So, with that being said, the card's spiking for some reason, right? Well, that's because people are playing it. And what are they playing it in? Well, they're playing it in Eldrazi Breach. That's right, they're playing it with cards like this. The Devourer of Destinies. 2 colorless mana, real colorless. Waste mana, we'll call it waste. And 5, 6/6, it says, you may reveal this card from your opening hand. If you do, at the beginning of your first upkeep, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may put one of those cards back on top and the rest into exile. So already this thing, if it's in your opening hand, is going to help you filter through half your deck. It also says, when you cast this card, exile target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So it doesn't really work on other Eldrazi decks, but this thing is still a 6/6 and large and in charge. Now, the fact that it says when you cast it, you get to exile it, not that great. It is a giant 6/6, and the ability to filter 4 cards off the top of your deck and put 1 back on top, whether it be the 1 land that you need, or maybe you don't have your tree yet, so you just literally mill down 3 more cards to get you closer to a tree, which it might be in the next top 4. If it's not, it says you may put 1. If you don't want any of them, you can just exile them all and just YOLO. So, yeah, it's playing 4 of these bad boys. And what would be Eldrazi Breach without the Eldrazi, the man, the myth, the legendary creature, Emrakul, the Eon's Torn. 15 colors for 15/15. Can't be countered. When you cast him, you get an extra turn. We ain't casting nothing in this deck. Flying, protection from colored spells. Big one here. Annihilator 6. If you don't remember what that does, when something has Annihilator and you swing with it, it triggers, causing your opponent to sacrifice 6 permanents. Which basically means their whole battlefield, probably. So, when he's put into the graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles his or her graveyard into her library. So the last thing you want to do is put this in your graveyard, which is why it's really sweet that the World Tree can be tapped to literally exile this off the top. And then also, we're sporting this little fella who's new to the world. Ulamog the Defiler for 10 colorless. He's a 7/7. When you cast this spell, target opponent exiles half their library, rounded up. Ward, sacrifice 2 permanents. All amazing. Now, Ulamog the Defiler enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it, equal to the greatest mana value among cards in exile. Ulamog has Annihilator X, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on. Now, I want to take a step back, and I've read all that. I want you to take that third paragraph. Jeez, a lot of text on this card. Ulamog the Defiler enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters equal to the greatest mana value among cards in exile. Not just your cards, your opponent's cards, and not cards put there by any other means, like cards exiled by this Eldrazi. It just says, quote unquote, in exile. So, you quite literally, with the other Eldrazi, where you mill the top 4 cards of your deck into exile, you could put an Miracle into exile for 15, and then when this guy comes into play, he's got Annihilator 15 and 23 creature who, when he swings, is going to make your opponent wipe his whole board and take 23 damage and probably die on the first attack. Often. Very often. Almost always. And if none of that happens, and they manage to just kill it because they have a removal spell, they're still sacrificing 2 permanents. Mission probably accomplished. Just going to put that out there. Now, with that also said, you may be thinking, well, yeah, but if they're just going to wrath the board or yada yada, yakety smackety, how am I supposed to get this thing across the battlefield? Well, let's go back to this for a second. Notice on here, it says for 4 colors, put the creature card exiled with this on the battlefield under your control. It does say it gains haste until end of turn. You don't sacrifice it when you're done, but it gains haste. So when this bad boy pops out with 15 +1/+1 counters on him, he's swinging for the fences. And it's not going to be pretty if he gets up to bat. We're just going to say that. So, picking up a lot in popularity. We'll have to see how it plays out in Modern. But yeah, it can be devastating. So with that being said, what does Eldrazi Breach look like in its new iteration? Well, here's a deck list in case you want to put it together and probably lose friends like a good night of playing Monopoly. But anyway, you have your 4 Devourer of Destiny. We talked about that. That's a cheap one, $2. We have Miracle, $20. That's a bit much. We have the Null Drifter Eldrazi, which lets you draw 2 cards. Very nice. 2 Thought Knot Seers, because why not? And then we have Ulamog himself. Probably the biggest thing that's going to cost you money here is going to be Ulamog and Miracle. Until you get to the artifacts and you see that it's sporting 2 Chalices of the Void. Whew, that thing's pricey. 4 Talisman of Creativity, because, it runs Breach, so you need red mana. And blue for the Null Drifter. Anyhow, it has the Rebirth engine, which is, at listing of this, $8, which we know damn good and well is $20 now. We have 4 Colors X Command, which is just amazing. 2 Returns, which you can cast for free when you put something big on the battlefield, so why not? You have 4 Through the Breach. If you guys don't remember, it's a red and 5. Lets you put a card from your hand into the battlefield and gives it haste, i.e., swinging with Miracle Daddy. For the big shenanigan slaps. Also, too, you can also, with Ulamog the Defiler, do the exact same thing, probably even better. And the key to that is getting a Devourer of Destiny first off and putting something really big into exile. And then through the Breach in a Ulamog and just go ham on your opponents. Face and board. Everything he owns and loves. Anyway. So as far as lands goes, you get a Blast Zone, 1 Boseiju, which probably means you probably have green here somewhere. Anyway, 4 Eldrazi Temple because, I mean, you know, tap for 2 colors to play Eldrazi. Seems kind of good. 2 islands, 1 mountain, 4 Scalding Tarns, a Shivan Reef, 1 Steam Vents, 1 Thundering Falls, and 4 Ugin's Labyrinth. That's right. Ugin's Labyrinth is back. Cast something with 4 beggar. Just go fetch up another one. Yeah, seems like a plan. Sideboard has an extra chalice in it, which is where all the money is. 1 Call's X Return, 2 Meltdowns because, you know, Mox Opal and stuff. 4 Mystical Disputes because them pesky counterspell decks. 1 Ovar the All Form because, I mean, you never know when you want to copy something. 2 the Stone Brain. I mean, a better Jester's Cap. 2 Torpor Orb because, you know, fuck math. And 2 Untimely Malfunctions. Probably one of the best multi-removal creature spell things we've seen yet. So, yeah. How the hell do we cast Boseiju in this thing? Looking for green mana here. I don't know. Oh, Boseiju shelters all. Wrong Boseiju. My bad. So anyway. Yeah, there you have it. If you got a small mortgage you want to take out on your house to build a deck and at the same time lose every friend you've ever had because of how this thing plays, go for it. Or if you want to be a menace at your local LGS and make people ask you questions like, yeah, I'll play a game with you as long as you don't play that Eldrazi deck. Have fun. So, if you went around during Eldrazi Winter, that's a reference. Anyhow, there you have it, guys. Whew. If you bought some Assassin's Creed, now's probably a good time to unpack those bad boys. So, with all that said and done, until next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. It's kind of funny. I say till next time, be kind. Then I show you this damn abomination of a deck that'll make you lose friends and family members when you play it against them. Anyway.